It is Scout Fantasy Sports. Adam Ronis here. You can check me out, scoutfantasysports.com. But right now, I want to welcome in Michael Rathburn from RotoWire as he participated in Tout Wars over the weekend. Got to see him in New York. Don't get to see him too often. Rath, what's up?
Hey, man. Getting ready for the season, trying to fight off this cold. And, thank God Vlad Sedler at RotoGut on Twitter told me about this tea that you can get at Starbucks called the medicine ball. And if you're sick, you just drink a medicine ball, and it really does a wonderful job. So I've been drinking that.
Oh, is it working?
Yeah, it is working. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, unfortunately, I haven't been sick, although we do have a nor'easter here, a bunch of snow today. Who knows? It's been snowing all day, so I guess you departed New York at the right time. It's a good thing this didn't happen on the weekend.
Yeah, I know, man. I was just praying I wasn't going to get sick, so it was pretty cold up there.
All right, Rath, you were in Tout Wars this past weekend. It was a 12-team auction, but it was a points league, and the scoring is a little bit different than I think your typical points league. Do you play in a lot of points leagues? What's been your experience in the points league format?
No, I really don't. I mean, you could say that DFS is pretty much a points league, and that's pretty much my fill. So I definitely had to go in and make sure that I had the valuations correct on the players based on the scoring, and then also just try to get an understanding of what profile of a player that I want and where, how much money I want to spend on hitting, how much I want to spend on pitching, and then in the pitching side, how much I want to spend on starters and relievers. So kind of went into a pretty good game plan and a budget that I was able to stick to and just adjust it as the auction went on, where you see, where there's inflation, maybe you go away from that and you try to find value in other areas, which is what I did.
Yeah, and in this scoring system, it is 1 point for an innings pitched. It's 1 point for an out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which definitely seems high. So it's unique, and I always say you got to check your scoring format and know it before you go in. The typical 1 point for a single, 2 for a double, but 5 points for a win and 5 points for a save. How do you think that changes things with the win and the save being the same, but at the same time, for one full inning, starting pitcher gets 3 points for a full inning. So how did that change the philosophy and how to deal with the pitching?
I mean, I know one owner, Justin Mason, went real heavy on starting pitching because he felt like he could exploit it. For me, I really kind of did it straight up. I didn't go overboard on pitching. I felt like I was still just going to play it out and see how it goes. I did want to get one anchor. One of the things I definitely was not going to do is pay up for closers based on what, based on the 1 point per out thing. And it just, to me, it didn't make sense to pay up for closers, so I didn't. Again, only one owner did that heavy pitching strategy, so let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, and the owner, as you mentioned, was Justin Mason, who spent a ton on pitching, 54 on Scherzer, 52 on Kerger, 24 on Ray, Carlos Martinez at 27, Cueto 10, Margin 15. And as you imagine, the offense, only one player in double digits, and that was JT Realmuto. Do you think you can have success with that strategy looking at his offense?
I think it's going to be hard because really you need depth in leagues, and I think if you're going to do the pitching heavy strategy, I think what I would have done is I would have gone more like the balanced approach, and instead of going out there and getting 2 big aces and then 2, second tier pitchers, maybe what I would have done is try to spread that a little bit more and get like 4 pitchers in the $20 range and then take, $27 that he could have saved and spread that to the hitters a little bit more because he's got a lot of $1 and $2 hitters, and that usually doesn't spell good. But look, he got Belt at $1, he got Conforto at $2, he got Chapman at $1. He got Semien at $2. I mean, he got some good buys, but he doesn't have enough there to really overcome it, in my opinion. So.
We're talking to Michael Rathburn from RotoWire going over his 12-team auction draft from Tout Wars. It was a points league format. And now I'm a little bit concerned having you on, Michael, because you said you're sick, and it seems like you're a little bit cursed here early in the season. Justin Turner, who at the time in the draft, I texted you and I said, damn, that was a steal. $13 for Justin Turner. In this format, the guy doesn't strike out. He draws walks. It's a great lineup.
Yep.
He's a beast. He was phenomenal in this format. He breaks his wrist. And Jorge Polanco, who I also love, and have been taking a lot of drafts, he gets suspended 80 games. So I'm a little bit concerned talking to you. Might curse me now, and I got to beware of my players. But how do you get out of that hole? You got some things to deal with here in waiver wire on Sunday.
Yeah, this has been a trend for me, unfortunately, and it goes back to Jake Seeley's flex leagues where 2 years ago I had Dion Lewis who got hurt and never really came back. I had Martavis Bryant when he got suspended. And then I had injuries. Before the season even started, I'd lost 4 players in that league. I just seem to be snake bit when I get into these leagues that are like my main industry league. I get snake bit. The good thing about it, though, is I got Nick Castellanos in utility, and I can slide him up to corner. And then I got Ketel Marte in the reserve round, and I can slide him in at shortstop or middle infield, wherever they have Polanco. They got him at shortstop for me. I got Arcia still. I mean, there's a lot of things I can do, so I'm okay with it. I can even put Justin Bour in if I need to at corner and leave Castellanos at, so I'm fine. Like, I think I'm okay. I mean, one more injury, and it's going to hurt, but I think I did a good enough job balancing out the reserves to where if I do have an injury or two, I've got a really good backup to go in, and then I hit waivers and hopefully, get lucky there. So, I'm definitely going to be looking at waivers and looking to just fill the holes that I'm going to have to use for Marte and Bour. But, it could be a lot worse.
Do you anticipate being able to hold on to Jorge Polanco right now? It's an 80-game suspension. You're looking at about 3 months. It's a head-to-head format. I believe it's weekly. Do you think you're going to be able to hold on to him?
Yeah, see, that's the thing is how long do you hold on to him if you're going to? And at this point, I'm probably going to have to cut bait because there's a lot more opportunity for fabs, in the beginning of the season when guys break out, and then you have them for the whole year, hopefully, if you hit on the right guys. So to hold a player for 80 games, I think it's going to be tough, especially if it looks like I'm going to have to start doing something with the pitching, and I'm going to need some extra slots there. So I don't think I'm going to be able to hold on to him. The only thing I can hope for is that I cut bait and maybe I pick him back up 2 weeks before he comes back and people are forgetting about him.
Yeah, I think you did the Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational as well, right?
Yeah, and I got him there too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't have him there. I do have Polanco and Turner in the same league in 2 leagues. But just to give you context, that Polanco was dropped in that league, and that was a 15-team league. I think we only have four or five bench spots, though, so that might have been a possibility. But he was benched. He was cut in that one. So I know a lot of people who have already drafted might have to make that decision. Your highest buy was Mookie Betts at 40 and Chris Bryant at 38. How important was it for you to get 2 stud players like that to build around?
Yeah, really what I wanted to do going in is I wanted to treat it like a snake draft in the sense that I wanted to get a player that was going in the first. I wanted to get a guy that was going in the second. I wanted to get a guy that was going in the third, etc. That's kind of how I wanted to let it play out. And when I did the dollar values based on ADPs, I felt like I could do that. But I certainly want to skew a little bit more to the top because I know I'm going to get some dollar guys. So I wasn't afraid to spend up a little bit more on a couple other players. But, yeah, Betts was a guy that, in this format, I'm looking for as many 5-category contributors as possible because it is total points, and I want as much balance as possible. I know it's not a roto league, but in my thinking, I want guys that aren't relying on one thing. They get a lot of things, so that way if one thing doesn't happen, they're all-around, like, well-rounded players. I want players with good batting eyes. I want guys that don't strike out as much, that draw walks. And if you look at my roster, I think I really did a good job of focusing on that throughout the hitters.
Now, when it comes to pitching, you saw some of the top arms all go for over 50. Syndergaard, 37. Bumgarner, 40. So when you see that, what is your mindset in the way you have to attack pitching now?
All right. So when I saw the inflation coming out right away, basically what I said was, I got a list of guys that I like, and I'm just going to wait till the guys that I like fall either below my projected values or kind of at market or a little bit above. So when I saw Severino go for 37 and I saw Bumgarner go for 40, that's in Verlander 36, that's money that I know. I know now other guys that are in that $25 to $30 range are probably going to land in that range or fall below. So I was just going to wait till the right guy comes along that I like and wait and see how the bidding goes. And like with Carrasco, it got to 29. I'm going to tell you, if it got to 31, I'm probably out. I really had a mindset of I wasn't going to spend more than $30 on a pitcher. And so Carrasco was the guy for me at 29. DeGrom went to 31. I was in on that. Quintana went for 29. I liked Carrasco better than Quintana. I like Quintana, but I wasn't willing to go 29. Cole went for 20. That was a guy that I was certainly eyeing, and it would have been somebody that I could have got. But, I didn't go in with John Lester as a target. But at $14 to get a guy that goes 200 innings with hopefully some rebound on a team that I think is going to win a lot of games this year in the Cubs, I'm more than happy doing that. And at $14, Garrett Richards went for 12. Jameson Taillon is a guy that I liked, but he went for 12. So that was kind of the mindset there.
Yeah, I like the Carrasco buy at 29. You save some money, and I think he's easy a top 10 pitcher. I think he's a dark horse Cy Young candidate. I know health has been somewhat of a issue for him at times, but he stayed healthy the last couple of years. So I really like how that worked out to get him at 29. When you compare him to some of the other pitchers, last year, first year, he went 200 innings. We'll see if he can do it again, but I like that buy. You got John Gray at 10. I got him in the NFBC auction for $5 on Sunday, and I was a little surprised the bidding stopped. I know up until his last start he had a bad spring, but again, I don't worry about it. I know he's working on some things. The guys that had a better ERA at home the last 2 years than on the road, are people still using the Coors Field factor to stay away from Gray? Because unless I'm missing something.
I don't think, because he hasn't really put it all together for a full season yet. And that's really the unknown, and that's why he's where he is. But the thing about it is he's still really young, and he has a really good pedigree. I think he was like a top 5 pick in the draft, and that's something that I always look at. And the fact that he can handle Coors, and he misses a lot of bats. I mean, this is a guy that has potential of getting 200 to 220 strikeouts, and at $10, when I look at other guys that went around there, Sonny Gray 9, Johnny Cueto 10, Kevin Gausman 10. I mean, I know Gausman has improved, but still the jury's out. Luke Weaver, 10. I'm just thinking and I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's a guy I targeted. That's a guy I wanted. And I felt like, no, I'll tell you right now, I almost bowed out at 9. It got to 9 and I was really close to bowing out, but I said, you know what, let me go one more dollar because I have a feeling that the other person's not going to, and that's what happened.
What was the most surprising thing of this draft? What took you by shock?
Mason spending a lot on pitching. That certainly caught everybody by surprise. Some of the catching prices just went too high for my taste. Like I really wanted Wilson Ramos, but he went for 8. Molina went for 7. Lucroy went for 6. Grandal went for 5. I think I backed off on catcher when I saw what that was going for. Just some of the pitching prices, Severino going for 37, Bumgarner going for 40. To me, that was just, overspend, and I knew I was going to be able to find value in some of the other guys. I just wanted to wait and pick my spots. And I had a list of guys that I knew I could get late in the $1, $2, $3, $4 range. And one of the things I definitely did not want to do is I didn't want to run out of money and be stuck with only $1 bids, because what ends up happening is you throw a guy out for $1 that you like and you get outbid to $2. So I wanted to make sure that I had enough to go $2 or $3 on everybody at the end. And if you notice and you look at my team, there's a lot of guys that I got for $2 and $3.
Rhys Hoskins.
That's because
Rhys Hoskins at 24. I mean, I see him go in the 4th, 5th round of drafts. And you would think in this format he's a little bit better. Real quick on him because he walks a lot.
Yeah, and I think he's for real. I don't think this is a guy that's going to flame out. If you look at his minor league numbers, he's always had a really good batting eye, and that usually translates into the major leagues and what he did last year. Look, if he can go 270, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, I think that's his floor. This is not a guy that's just going to fall off the face of the earth. And I think there's some serious upside there where this guy could potentially go, 250, 40, and 120. So, again, pedigree. He's not a young guy. He's a little bit of an older prospect. He's in a good ballpark, good lineup. So at 24, I was the one to pull the trigger.
All right, that is Michael Rathburn from RotoWire. You can check out his entire team at toutwars.com. Michael, thanks for the time, and feel better. Drink that tea.
Yeah, man, you got it. Thanks.